Hmm.
Meron, so super excited to talk, to connect with you today. I've been looking through your job experience, your LinkedIn, and just extremely impressive. Uh, so maybe let's start with an introduction, and then we'll go to the next steps.
Yes, surely, and it's also such a pleasure to meet you, Jonas, and also Mado as well. Yes, so I'm Meron. Shortly, you can call me Mary. But I would say that I am a talent with diverse expertise and experiences. So I've worked in various organizations, both locally and both remotely. I've been working remotely in tech sectors, in consulting sectors, in public affairs sectors, and etc. So I would say that I really am passionate about working both offline and online. At the same time, meeting with different people, diverse teams, and also learning and sharing my expertise as I go. I've been working in companies such as uh, companies based in the US. Um, 5 years ago, I would say that I've had my breakthrough or my real chase of passion in the sector of digital marketing, which I was able to really learn, educate myself, and also recruit a whole team of digital marketers and curators, creative teams, and etc. So going down the line, now I'm actually working as a consultant, both for digital marketing, for business strategy, partnerships, and as big as it is, I'm an open, flexible person, and happy to see how we can surely develop this interview as well.
Okay, sounds good. So as I saw the different things that you've done, um, education wise, you were
Mhm.
in the food, the food industry, like that was your education. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, actually. So I majored in applied science, but specifically in food science and nutrition. So I really went with that subject because you don't really see that sector here in Addis or in Ethiopia as a whole, or you would see people going through that subject and really just, being a bit not in the employment sector or going to other dreams. And I wanted to kind of see for myself first because it was based in Addis, the education was based in Addis. So I didn't really want to be a bit too selective and go overseas or other regions locally as well. So I wanted to challenge myself. But then I really liked the course and it really challenged my entrepreneurial dreams as well. So um, I went with it and yeah, got my
Okay,
degree.
interesting. So
Mm.
you get your degree in food sciences and nutrition.
Hmm.
And so when did you start working? Did you go directly towards the digital marketing consulting route immediately? Did you try and find work? Um, so what was the path like?
Yes. So honestly, I was really scared, like from the first day of campus life to the end. As I also feared because most of the people that even my seniors were unemployed for a long time. And even if they did, they really got those bare minimum type of salary payments that they got in working industries or factories as a food scientist. So I really wanted to challenge myself. That's by what I mean in the first explanation. So I really tried to get myself in the digital sector by saying like as simple as social media. Uh, and I discovered LinkedIn with my first internship that I did with a company called Ethio Jobs, which they really get interns from this type of campuses that I was in. And regardless of what sector you're in, you get that type of working environment and all type of professional support that you need. So from there, I saw one of my colleagues using LinkedIn. So I got really introduced on LinkedIn on my second year of campus. So I used it as my Facebook. So from that day on, moving forward, I was posting my activities, of course, the professional activities, like the little things I did. Like if I finished a work, I would just put an update to it. So I kind of grew through that basis of keeping the public aware about the things I did professionally. And it also inspired me with the feedback that I got. So that's also how I um, got my first remote job as well on LinkedIn,
Oh wow!
from
So you're
LinkedIn.
building
Yeah.
your personal brand before it became popular, right? So back in the day, you're posting stuff on LinkedIn. Definitely now, LinkedIn feels like it is Facebook. People post family
Yes.
stuff on there. You see a lot more things that were, I guess, maybe kind of taboo in the
Mm-hmm.
past starting to
Yeah.
show up. So very interesting. So tell me about your first. So you found remote work. I think it's with a company out of the US, Delaware. Is that what it is? If I'm not
And
mistaken.
it's so that one is actually my I would say my third job from LinkedIn. The first one was from Atlanta. It's called Take One Factory. So it's a software. It was a software company. And yeah. So sorry if I could recall
No,
your
no,
question
you're
back
you're on
again.
the no, no, you're on the right track. So tell what I wanted to know is how did you get that job? Like what was the application process
Mm.
like? How did you even find it? So tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, as egotistic I don't want to sound. So they actually found me, and that actually motivated me
Ooh,
to like dig deep about all the things about LinkedIn. Um, so they were actually looking for developers, and back then I had one experience with developer team where I was their project manager. And we actually got a chance to participate in this global developers group, and we actually took the second place without me knowing anything about developing. And yeah, yeah. So I guess that one kind of gave me the outshine, and they thought I was a developer. They reached out, and even though I wasn't, they were happy to like support me in being one. But since I really didn't want to land on the developing gig, I asked if there was like any other sectors that they have open. And they reached back out for another 4 or 5 months later, stating that they have digital marketing. And I was still new with digital marketing. I didn't know what it was. My field is another subject. So my boss or the CEO was actually very happy to support me, as it was also about the early stages of COVID. So I had all the remote space that I needed at home, and that's how it started.
yeah, amazing. So you got involved with digital marketing. And the challenges, of course, I think to a lot of people it might not be as evident, but when you graduate in different fields in Ethiopia, some sectors it's very, very difficult to find work. And that was very common when I graduated as well. Civil engineers, the almost impossible. And it was a different time because we were um, the China batch,
Mm.
like some people, I don't know, you might have heard of us. So we're a legendary batch because what happened is the previous year that graduated, when we got in, it was like a class of 90 students from civil engineering. When we graduated, there were 900 of us, and many of my friends they just saw the writing on the wall, so they
Mm.
immediately started taking classes to be pilots. I have a bunch of friends from the same like batch that are pilots right now. So it was a very, very difficult
Mm.
situation to find yourself in, just lines upon lines to try and find work. So I can definitely relate, and I understand the challenge of trying to find work within some sectors. So amazing. So now they reach out to you, you start working remotely. Um, and what was the next step? So like what other kind of, if you could walk me through your different jobs or career opportunities.
Hmm. Yeah, it's actually it's been a while since I really thought about this, so it's actually also good for me to kind of um hmm, wow, okay. Yeah, so I spent a lot of years with them. Not a lot, but like more than that I expected, which is about 2.5 years. And when COVID hit, it really kind of dramatically changed the whole service and client supply and demand type of basis that we were offering. So I also had to switch, and I also was graduating as well. And so maybe moving forward, what actually happened was because I was also scared about, what roles should I intake because, how remote work could actually be very sustainable. I'm an artist and, the so on, like that after graduation or post-graduation type of effect that it has. So I started my first corporate official employment here and Addis as a digital marketer, also as communications as well. So yeah, I started in a company called R&D Group. It's based in Netherlands, and they really focus on impact more than the business, but they're also for profit. So I've worked with them for about a year and a half as well. And meanwhile, since they're also open to really support the talents that they have within, I was able to also like do other parts of my jobs and still focus on what other things that I'm very passionate about. Yeah, so moving forward, I was able to get more recruited on LinkedIn. For example, like the founders associate at a company called Ravio, which is currently a very booming um, so it's supposed to be a payment system that's based in Delaware, but most of the teams are based in South Africa. So yeah, there were multiple companies that I've worked with remotely as well.
Fascinating. So one question I have is, um, right now you're kind of going in the direction of the digital marketing space.
Hmm.
Um, do you have plans to work with your food and nutrition degree? If you had the opportunity, I mean.
Mm. So everybody actually asks me, especially my uh, eldest siblings and family members. Um, Actually, yes, and I'm also doing that on the side as a personal hobby, but hopefully to become something. So I'm trying to utilize the tech and food as one, and trying to bring food for impact type of platform as well. So I'm using the talents, the young talents that I have met over my work, and they're really actually very inspirational to me as well. And yeah, so I guess you'll be actually hearing about it soon, hopefully. But yes, I might not be hired as a food specialist, but I'm trying to build a platform that also supports other food scientists like me to actually get a job, be on the platform and support their gigs while also doing other gigs that they do as well.
Awesome. Because from what I'm hearing, you do have a bit of an entrepreneur mindset. You
Yeah.
and like and I'll actually have some notes. There's a bunch of things that I want to ask about. So
Hmm.
um okay, so tell me a little bit about some of your volunteering stuff. So because I saw that you worked with something called the One campaign. What is the One campaign?
Yes, so the one campaign is a global campaign that really works with poverty, ending world hunger, and not just world hunger, but actually trying to support in fixing the gap of food insecurity, not just in Africa, but in areas that is needed and most needed, I would say. So for one campaign, I it was an application that was out. Meanwhile, I was also doing my other professional work, and I was very inspired by what they do because first, it's also the food security that they try to build with their volunteers, and it's in East Africa. So I was able to apply and got the chance to being actually a champion for them with also similar young people as well, based in Ethiopia, Kenya, and all over Africa.
Oh, okay. And then you've done something similar with UNESCO as well?
Yes, UNESCO was actually a volunteer in a way where I was supporting them in youth mobilization and also um, actually was more of an employment, a short-term volunteer employment that I had with UNESCO. It was in COVID as well, so I was able to support them with logistics when they have events, supporting them with admin, liaison, yeah, but mostly was with the Addis Ababa headquarters that they had.
Okay. Looking at my notes, you were you in Indonesia?
Yes.
Okay, tell me
Yes.
about that. How did you end up in Indonesia?
Yeah, so okay. Yeah, so Indonesia in 2019, I was able to gotten to be introduced to the ambassador, His Excellency Mr. Al Busra Al Nur. He's still the ambassador for Indonesia and Ethiopia, and also um, the main person for AU, Djibouti, and so. Um, so I was able to actually connect with them in a networking event that my friend introduced me to, and I overheard about these opportunities that they give, and they actually had an interview to recruit like people or students still in the studies who wanted to explore the exchange that they have in Indonesia. So I was able, luckily, to be among those 5 individuals and be able to go to Indonesia, go to Bali, even though I didn't know at that point it was that destination to go to. But yeah,
I've
I
heard.
had, uh-huh, yeah, yeah, but it was great. And it also brought up my diplomatic ambition or passion that I have while being there as well, as it was a conference for students in diplomacy.
Okay, so was it like a conference of sorts? Did you go visit and go back, or did you stay for a while? Like
Yes. It
so
was a very
short vi
short term, 2 weeks. So 1 week as the conference, and the other week is bilateral relations, exploration of the sites, the visits, and so on. Yeah.
Nice. As have you traveled anywhere outside of Ethiopia other than Indonesia?
Yes, yes. I had the opportunity to travel with UNESCO mostly. So some of them were Angola, Gambia, Kenya, was different parts of companies that I worked for. Also Europe as well, in Prague and Talch in Czech Republic. Yeah, I would say those are the major ones.
Oh, I mean, you've definitely traveled a lot more than I have, that's for sure. Um, Tell me about She Leads. What is that?
I am very happy to actually mention that. Yes. So She Leads is a campaign or an initiative that is among AU under the GMAC, or Gender is My Agenda campaign. So it's mainly focused on motivating and empowering young women and girls, and of course the youth based in Africa, but mostly I'm the current country coordinator for Ethiopia for She Leads. So I try to organize different workshops, trainings upon those concepts or thematic areas that we have in a monthly, bilateral, biannually, all the discussions that we have. So we try to give more voice for the youth, and we try to also give them a space to really showcase their talents, their skills, regardless of how famous or how unreally showcase that their talents are, so that they can really actually be out there. but it's more than what
Amazing.
I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay, I can imagine that. So how do you get the time? Like you're involved
Mm,
in 1,001 things. Like how do you
yeah.
make the time for all these different activities? And yeah,
Um, I would say my passion gets me through that because I love juggling things. I'm always scared of being drained out or burned out, but it's always something new. So not having redundant things on my hand kind of gives me that aha moment whenever like something works. So it's always like, okay, this works, so let's keep going type of thing. So I think that keeps me going as well.
wow, okay.
And I try
And
to manage my time as much as I'm able to.
yes, that's a very important skill that you obviously have, being able to achieve so much. And tell me about artists. It seems you've done some work with artists as well.
Mm, mm. You mean the peace initiative?
Artists for artists in Africa.
Yes, so not as much. That was actually my first volunteer experience ever that I've ever done. Um, so I used to work in ushering in the past, and so that organization is called API, or African Artists for Peace Initiative. And what it valued on is actually developing the arts of peace, or the remedy of peace, by using arts, um, actually using art as a remedy for peace, if I should rephrase it. So we try to include as much as art as possible in the local, in Ethiopia, to really bring about the festivity, but still bringing the words of peace, love, and all that it had, and being non-governmental as well as we went forward.
Nice. Okay, I think we covered a lot of different things. One area we haven't really touched on is
Mm,
getting into a bit more about digital marketing, I guess.
mm, yeah.
Um, so what do you like about digital marketing?
Mm. I think the creative space that it gives me, and of course, it depends on the company that I'm either hired for to do or I'm doing on my own. But as long as I'm not really in a box, it really helps me to visualize regarding the sector or the company or the business they have to really showcase their fullest business achievements or goals that they want to target. And I use
Okay.
digital marketing as an answer. Yeah.
Okay. And I know that in digital marketing, there's a lot of different kind of branches to it. Whether it's social media, ads, SEO,
Yeah.
content creation, etc., etc. Which areas have you been involved in?
Yes. So I've actually been in most of them. Um, so I started with content creation at first, also utilizing different tools to support my work to really stand out with for the audience, which is in the target audiences, depending on the topic, the content, and the final target that client needs to reach. Besides that, of course, graphics design as well. So I might not say I'm really equipped in Adobe or Illustrator, but I really use Canva. Um, so I use tools like Canva, and if it's a bit too much, I also outsource it to my young talents that have more than experience that I have as well. But besides that, I also use softwares like Buffer to really support my scheduling, and input my work as well.
Okay, fascinating. Um, tell me about your future goals. Like
Mhm,
right now, um, you've been doing quite a few different things. When you kind of think about your career, what does the next kind of 5 years look like for you?
mhm. So I think I'm currently heading into the consultant profession because I see myself flexibly supporting different type of people, both organizations, corporates, and also entrepreneurs. I would say I'm an impactor, not in just expecting impact or change, but really even for people working for profit, that I really tend to see what they might be lacking in their business, and yeah. So I would say I currently like the consulting area, either in digital marketing and communications, as I'm currently working on communications and public relations as well.
Okay, because that is your latest role, right? So
Mhm.
communications and public relation. I want to get back to and talk about the consultant piece, but I want to explore the communication side. So what are you doing currently?
Yes.
Like, what's your main role?
Yes. So currently, I'm a communications consultant. So that includes digital marketing, partnerships, strategic partnership and development. So it could expand as much as needed, depending on the skill set needed and what I'm able to offer as well. But
Okay,
it also
interesting.
surely, yeah.
So it's like a broader um, kind of it's a broader concept than just digital marketing. It includes
Exactly.
a wider. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, in an
Okay,
innovative way.
okay, and hmm. So you want to be a consultant. Um, is it um, is it tough being a consultant? How do you find work? Like, how does that work?
Um, Honestly, it's getting better than before, because first the word of mouth really helps. So I've worked with different clients and they recommend me to other clients. So referrals is really being a thing in Addis, in Ethiopia. So that's one. And LinkedIn is my best friend. So all the top clients that I've worked before, they really also give boosts for others to actually come in and ask, okay, how do we go about this? So I'm also open to really kind of teach the clients as well towards how I'm able to support them, not just, okay, give me this and give me that. But I first explain how I would do things in such a way that would uh, really be able to accommodate them.
Okay. Um, so I'm actually maybe this is something that I'm curious about.
Mhm.
Um, so when you, let's say, are looking for remote work on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
um, are there any kind of secret filters that we're using? Because I've been, of course, for Mado, the talents that we have, we do look
Mm.
for work. Um, but like I'm interested in knowing more. So when you're looking for work, how do you go about it?
Okay. So of course, first it's where I see what is available. One, first it has to be remote. Of course, it has to be in anything that's digital. So I prioritize that, and so there are sectors that I really look for. But then it's also, when it has been posted, how long ago, and last but not least, I apply through the link that's provided. And at the same time, I recheck if the HR was also on LinkedIn so that I could kind of give them a heads up. Because LinkedIn also gives you this option where you can, even if you're not connected, you can still reach out with a first notes introduction. So I feel like that helped with most of my clients.
Perfect. Amazing. I think I, I, that was a great interview. Do you have any questions for me though? You could definitely ask me.
Hmm. I think maybe, okay. What is the favorite thing about interviewing candidates for you?
Hmm. Well, I think one of the things that we're trying to do is promote the talent, showcase the capacity, whether it's in terms of English, in terms of skill set. That is what I love. Whenever I have a conversation, and there was one point I was just showing a video of a talent video. The first one that I did, I was super excited about it. I was talking to my friend, and I showed it to him. I was like, "Oh, look, this is what we did," and he saw it and he saw potential. There was
Mm,
an interview for a virtual assistant, but he immediately took a look and he said, "This person has the potential to be an account admin, and I would like to interview her next week." So that really
wow.
showed me the power of doing video. Video is so it's so powerful to showcase who you are and
Yeah,
like put a name to the face, like humanize. Because I feel like the resumes and all of these things are so
exactly.
impersonal. It's just like it feels like data as opposed to like there's a person behind this. Um, so that's why I love doing talent interviews is I get to have very interesting conversations, but at the same time, that is something that we can use to promote and also show people what we need when we say, oh, this person might be a good fit for this
Mm,
role. Not only do you get paper, you also get
yeah,
video. You can actually see them, hear them talking, and kind of get a sense for whether they're going to be a good fit for you.
exactly. That's actually a very
Yeah.
good answer. I'm speechless now.
No, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it took a long time. It's not something that just happened.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's just something that uh, in the journey that we discovered, and it's something that we're trying to lean into a bit more. Yeah, so that's my answer. And if you have any more questions, feel free to ask me for sure.
I think that's about it. Yeah.
Perfect,
Yeah.
perfect. So thank you, Mary, for today. Appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to a long partnership.
Definitely. Same here. And hope to
Yes.
speak soon.
Oh, for sure. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Have a good